You are Locked On Red Sox Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, our maiden voyage in the Red Sox drop one at home to the Phillies in the series opener of what is a rough stretch and a rough week for the Red Sox. We're recapping the Red Sox 4-1 loss at Fenway to the top team in the National League right here on the Locked On Red Sox Postcast. I'm Steve Lennox. 4-1 the final. Red Sox with a loss on Tuesday night, dropping to 33-34 on the season. And I think the Phillies in the opener, right off the bat, showing Red Sox fans what a first-place team looks like. They got the pitching from Zack Wheeler. They got the bullpen as well. They got the home runs from Kyle Schwarber, including his first of the game on the first pitch that he saw from Kutter Crawford. They don't beat themselves defensively all that often. Again, Red Sox losing the opener 4-1. 2 more games to go in the series. Kutter Crawford took the loss. Defense cost him. We'll touch on that. And the bats were quiet for the most part. They did get to Zack Wheeler in the first inning. Not going to say they had him on the ropes, but along those lines, Wheeler, you had an opportunity to add a run and go ahead in the first inning. Did not happen. Thanks for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And our inaugural episode of the Locked On Red Sox Postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime play-by-play announcer in the minors, MLB on ESPN Radio, both in studio and as a play-by-play announcer, college baseball on the ESPN networks, including the Longhorn Network, ACC Network, SEC Network, 10 years in the minors, including 1+ season, you can say, with a Boston Red Sox affiliate. National host on ESPN Radio, also on satellite radio when it was just known as XM Radio, and also a guy with a dangerous amount of useless baseball information. Again, we're getting into it. Our maiden voyage. And Gabby Hurlbut does a terrific job with Locked On Red Sox for the Locked On Podcasting Network and Locked On Boston as well. Gabby's not going away. Gabby will continue her daily storylines, and she does a great job. Alex Verdugo calling out the Red Sox. Red Sox fans will see Alex Verdugo Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend when the Yankees are in town. And this is the tough stretch. You're playing the top team in the National League, the Phillies. Lost tonight 4-1 in the opener. That's what we're recapping here. And this series will continue Wednesday and Thursday. Then the Yankees, the top team in the American League. From Elias and the Red Sox game notes from Tuesday, first time the Red Sox have ever played the top team in the National League, the top team in the American League on the same homestand. So it's off to a rough start. If you want to go back to the weekend, this scenario playing out, you should have taken 3 of 4. You should have swept. Well, let's say 3 out of 4 in Chicago against the White Sox. Instead, you went late on Sunday, needing a comeback win to garner a split against the worst team in baseball. Now you're playing the 2 best teams in baseball. So again, this is our maiden voyage on the Locked On Red Sox postcast on the Locked On Podcasting Network. We'll call it a work in progress, but we're going to build on this slowly but surely, and we're going to need you as well. So as you're joining us, you want to talk about the game that maybe you listened to on the radio or watched on Nesson, and you can join us. You can add comments. We're going to continue to grow our audience. Again, part of Gabby's network with the Locked On Red Sox podcast. Again, she does a terrific job. We are just building the audience, and we will start today on this, the 11th day of June, 2024, with a 4-1 loss for the Red Sox. We'll go throughout the rest of the regular season and fingers crossed into the postseason. And I don't say that lightly because the Red Sox flirting with 500, now a game under with the loss to the Phillies 4-1. Let's get into it. Kutter Crawford just deserved better. Absolutely no doubt about it. Now, Crawford got off to a shaky start. First pitch of the game, boom, home run, Kyle Schwarber. It's what Kyle Schwarber does. 37th time in his career where he has hit a home run to lead off a game, and the 6th time he's done it this year. So Crawford, 1-0 lead, 1 pitch into the game. Schwarber the home run off Crawford. Crawford did a nice job, retired the next 3 hitters, got out of the first inning with just the 1 run. Now, the Red Sox did exactly what they should have done. and you hope that they do. First two batters, Duran and Hamilton. Hamilton up in that number 2 spot. Great speed with Duran and Hamilton, 1 and 2 in Alex Cora's lineup on Tuesday night. But with that, a single, a double, second, and third. Ref Snyder, pop up down the right field line. With Duran's speed, you thought, okay, Castellanos, the right fielder for the Phillies, coming in on the ball. He's going to tag, he's going to score. Throw offline. Not only does Jarren Duran score the tying run from third base, speed kills. The Phillies did it one way with a home run and the long ball, and the Red Sox did it with the speed at the top of the lineup. Duran scores, Hamilton takes third. Hamilton is at third, less than 2 outs. This is where you have to get to Zack Wheeler. This is where you have to figure out how to get that second run across and take a 2-1 lead to the second inning for your starter, Kutter Crawford. Did not happen. Devers pop up. That's out number 2. Wheeler gets the next out, and that's the inning. Yoshida bounced out. Masa Yoshida back in the lineup for the Red Sox, and it's good to see him in the lineup, but he is going to be the designated hitter. He's the DH. And as we should have put that up there earlier, we have our rundown, and this is where you kind of start the show and wonder where the Sorry about that. Trying to put that up for us. I know what we have to do. We have to do right there. There's our rundown. Rookie mistake. That's number 1 for me. 2 errors by the Red Sox, 50 on the season. My error right there. There is our rundown. There you go. That's what we should have had up and running if I had put myself on the screen initially. So E. Lennox to start things off. If you can't laugh at yourself, then I don't deserve to laugh at anybody. But Crawford again, that first inning, Red Sox get the run to tie it up. They do not get another run. Now Crawford comes back in the second inning as well for the Red Sox. We'll get into the notes here. Crawford's second inning gives up a single, gets the next 3 hitters. Bottom of the second, Connor Wong, a base hit, right? Connor Wong with the base hit. Out, caught stealing, strike him out, throw him out, double play, inning over. Wheeler pretty much doesn't allow much else after that. Wheeler really settled in. But you're not going to say that in the first inning you had him on the ropes, but you kind of had him on the ropes. If you get that runner in from third, less than 2 outs in that first inning, then you can maybe put something together going forward. But Crawford, first career start against the Phillies, 6 innings, 4 runs, 2 earned. So the rough spot in this game, his ERA entering the start on Tuesday against the Phillies, almost 2.5 runs higher at home than on the road. 3-10 now, 3-11 in Kutter Crawford's starts on the season. So Crawford now 0-5 over his last 7 outings. The team 0-7 in his last 6 starts as well. But where things kind of fell off the rails, and we'll hit this in our second segment as well, with things that just cannot happen when you want to be a first-tier ball club. That 4th inning, Crawford got into trouble, had second and third, leadoff walk to Bryce Harper, second and third, 2 outs. Ground ball to second, looks like he's out of the inning. Dom Smith, error, 2-run score, 3-1. Schwarber, another home run against Crawford, and that was pretty much it. 4-1. Crawford, 6 innings, 4 runs, 2 earned, gave up the 2 home runs. You take those 2 unearned runs away on the error by Dom Smith in that 4th inning, and things are looking a lot different for the Red Sox that way. So Crawford takes the loss. Again, they are now 3-11 in his 14 starts on the season. Zack Wheeler as advertised. He's the ace. And you're going to miss Ranger Suarez in the series for the Red Sox. Suarez, 10-game winner on the season. Pivetta, Sanchez, game 2, as the Red Sox will try to even it up on Wednesday. Then Tanner Houck, 6-5, 1.91 ERA against Aaron Nola. That's going to be a great pitching matchup for the finale on Thursday. We'll touch on that a little bit more in our episode. But Kutter Crawford certainly deserving of better in his start against the Phillies on Tuesday night. Red Sox a game under 500, 33-34 in the season, and now 14-19. Someone, you want to jump in the comments right off the bat, someone explain to us how the Red Sox continue to be woeful at home. It's just, it's one of those things right now. They've got to figure it out. They've got to learn at home. You want to go cliche and you say it's a lot of different things. You can do that. But overall, they've just got to figure this out in terms of putting things together and being a winning team at home. That's where it starts. Now, you're a winning team on the road right now. You've got to become a team that can win ball games at home. Steve Lennox, Locked On Red Sox postcast, recapping the Red Sox 4-1 loss at home against the Philadelphia Phillies. Again, loss dropping the Red Sox to a game under 500. Coming up, segment number 2, there were 3 things that just can't happen. One of those happened in the 4th inning, and Dom Smith should know better than what he did in that inning. We'll discuss that in just a moment. So our maiden voyage of our Locked On Red Sox postcast is brought to you by Ibotta. This spring, flowers won't be the only thing you're growing. When you use Ibotta, you can watch your cash back grow with every purchase you make. Ibotta is a free app that gives you the most cash back every time you shop on hundreds of items, from groceries to beauty supplies to toys, so you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $256 a year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, that flight you've been eyeing, or the fancy dinner that you've been craving. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. With Ibotta, just add your offers in the app, upload your receipt, and get real cash that you can cash out to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. Join over 50 million users and earn cash back every time you shop from over 2,700 brands and retailers, including all your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 for just trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Our Locked On Red Sox postcast also brought to you by, yes, our friends at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million members. It is the most fun, exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Easy enough, right? With PrizePicks, you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. You can make PrizePicks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. That's how fast it takes to make your lineup out. Faster than Alex Cora, faster than Rob Thompson, faster than any major league manager. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stats projections, and you're locked in. Again, this is the Locked On Red Sox postcast, recapping the Red Sox 4-1 loss to the Philadelphia Phillies, and 3 things that just can't happen. Okay? Bottom of the 1st inning. I've already mentioned it. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. You've got your 3-4 hitters up in the lineup for the Red Sox, right? Rafi Devers up there, get that runner in from third base. Refsnyder got in, Duran from third with a sac fly. Devers, though, retired on a pop-up. And then you got Masa Yoshida, and we'll touch on him in our 3rd segment. Yoshida also retired, and Yoshida going 0 for 2 with a walk in the game. It just can't happen in that situation. You've tied the game up 1-1. Schwarber takes the air out of Fenway. First pitch of the game, boom, home run over the bullpen in left center field. Kutter Crawford does his job, retires the next 3 hitters. Okay, bottom 1. Single, Duran, double, Hamilton, 2nd and 3rd. 1-1 with the sac fly from Refsnyder. Devers, Rafi's got to get that runner in. Got to break the 1-1 tie in that situation. Did not happen. Red Sox, 4 hits total. Their first 2 batters had hits. Hamilton had the 4th hit of the game for the Red Sox, that in the 9th inning against Jose Alvarado. Just 4 hits total, 3 singles and a double. That was it against Zack Wheeler and the Phillies bullpen. Phillies have terrific starting pitching. If you're not familiar with the Phillies, they've got terrific starting pitching. They've got a wonderful bullpen. Something that was a weak spot in years past, their bullpen this year, they might have some bumps in the road, but the Phillies bullpen, you may see it over the next couple of games of the series. We certainly saw it on Tuesday night in the series opener as Wheeler gave way to Matt Strahm. He worked a 1, 2, 3, 8th inning, struck out all 3 he faced, and then Alvarado gave up the hit in the 9th inning, but that was it. So the bottom of the 1st inning, runners at 2nd and 3rd, less than 2 outs, you don't get the runner in. That cannot happen. I'm not going to say ever, but that's got to happen in a game and a series against the Phillies. You cannot beat yourself. You cannot waste opportunities like they had against Wheeler. Wheeler pitching on extra rest. He's a guy who likes that routine, likes to go every 5th day, likes the 4 days of rest. You had him You had them a little bit. You could have gotten that second run, and it did not happen in that inning. Yes, I'm going through my cards right now. The other thing that cannot happen, the fourth inning, Dominic Smith. Crawford, leadoff walk to Bryce Harper. Thought he was going to be out on, I think it was a 2-2 pitch. Count went full 3-2. He ended up walking him. Second and third, 2 outs. Bouncing ball to second, inning over. Valdez, easy toss to first base. The throw was sort of behind Dom Smith. I don't know if he took his eye off it. I don't know if it was nonchalant. I don't care. That cannot happen. Ever. That's where we put the ever in that situation. So 2 runs come across. Crawford throwing extra pitches in that top of the fourth inning. 3-1 ball game. Now you're chasing again. You're chasing for the second time in the game. The first time you tied it up, the way Wheeler was starting to settle in, things weren't looking good at that point in time. But the third thing that just can't happen is the bottom of the fourth inning against Wheeler. Now, Wheeler worked a 1-2-3 third, gave up a 2-out walk to Yoshida in the fourth inning, but that was it. You commit an error on the field behind your starting pitcher that results in 2 unearned runs in the top of an inning in a home game, you've got to put something across in the bottom of that inning. Did not happen. So I'll say 3 things that should not happen ever. 1, and that's the error by Dom Smith that resulted in the 2 unearned runs against Crawford in that fourth inning. That just cannot happen ever in that situation. Red Sox 2 errors in the game, now 50 on the season. You're getting the pitching. The defense has to be better. Okay? You don't have the stars in the lineup that can erase mistakes like that. The Phillies up and down their lineup, they've got guys who can hit the ball to the park and do it often. And, the Red Sox don't have that right now. We're going to talk Ishida. We're going to talk Tyler O'Neill in our next segment. But those 3 things just cannot happen if you're a Red Sox fan. Not much going offensively. The 4 base hits, the 2 hits from the first 2 batters of the game in the bottom of the first inning, and then not much else after that. Wheeler retired 14 in a row to finish up. No, actually, Wheeler retired, I believe, 11 in a row. Yeah, and then Strom worked the 8th inning, retired 14 in a row. Alvarado gave up the single to Hamilton in the 9th inning. Hamilton went to second on a wild pitch, to third on an error by the catcher, and then it finished up by retiring 16 of the final 17 batters, just 1 hit from the 4th inning on, and just 2 base runners for the Red Sox from the 4th inning on against Wheeler and that strong Phillies bullpen as well. So I thought I'd hear more boos with Dom Smith making that error. And again, I think the air was sort of taken out of the ballpark, and fans at the ballpark at Fenway on Tuesday night, okay, we're going to see the top team in the National League. Our team is 500. Loss will, move them to below 500. That's what happened. But just interesting the way things played out there as well. Again, Steve Lennox on the Locked On Red Sox postcast, recapping the Red Sox 4-1 loss in the series opener to the Philadelphia Phillies, the top team in the National League on the season. I mentioned the Red Sox a game under 500, now 5 under 500 at Fenway. Red Sox 33-34 overall. Phillies improved to 46-20 and now 19-10 away from home on the season as well. Are you watching Fox Sports on ESPN or TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting. I didn't shout at my TV when Don Smith made that 2-out error in the 4th inning. I was close to doing it. I was ready to send Don Smith out. I was thinking they sent the wrong guy out earlier in the day when they had the DFA. But maybe I was wrong there. Yoshida coming off the injured list and Garrett Cooper designated for assignment. But again, you're watching Fox Sports, you're watching ESPN, the volume up, down, the shouting going on. Make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube, also available on the free Amazon Fire TV channel app. And as always, a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Steve Lennox with you on the Locked On Red Sox postcast. Again, as you get familiar with us, and we're on after each and every game the rest of the way. Fingers crossed, October baseball. We're a long way from that, although a game under 500, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, whether it's the National League or American League, whether it's one team or maybe two or three, there's going to be at least one team below 500 making postseason baseball, making it to the postseason and playing October baseball as well. Again, our Lennox on, or you can follow me on the X, formerly known as Twitter, at Lennox on Baseball. And again, our Locked On Red Sox podcast is sponsored. One of our sponsors right here by FanDuel. Let's tell you about FanDuel a little bit, all right? So we know that summertime means baseball, the NBA Finals, and more, and you can bet it all on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Easy enough? That's $200 you can use to bet everything from the Finals MVP to who's going to hit one out of the park. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and add a big win to your summer bucket list. FanDuel, America's #1 sports network. So, segment number 3. Masa Tanaka is back. Watching the Red Sox and Phillies, game 1 of the series at Fenway Park on Tuesday night. And Dave O'Brien, Lou Merloni talking about Tyler O'Neill, likely back in the lineup for game 2 of the series on Wednesday. So Tyler O'Neill's coming back, still dealing with a balky knee. Rafael Devers on and off, and out of the lineup on Sunday for the series finale in Chicago against the White Sox. They pick up the win to garner that split. But Yoshida coming off the injured list, and it's been a while since he's been in the lineup for the Red Sox. So Yoshida is back. Strained left thumb prior to Tuesday night, last game late April 28th. And with that, Masa Yoshida is going to be your designated hitter. We know that, right? We know he's going to be the DH. Being somewhat more of a National League guy in the past and, pitcher hitting, I still think there are teams in the National League who are trying to figure out how to use that designated hitter. But to me, you have a designated hitter, but you also use it as well to give a guy a day off every once in a while. To get Tyler O'Neill off his legs and out of the outfield, to get Rafi Devers off his legs and off the hot corner. By the way, Rafi Devers made a terrific play in the game against Castellanos early on. I think that was in the second inning when Crawford came back and was that in the second? I think that was in the second. Devers made a great play. Just going here. Nope, that was in the third. Struck out Kyle Schwarber on 3 pitches, and then Devers, great play. That was in the third when Crawford worked a 1-2-3 inning. And Rafi made a great play at third on a smash by Nick Castellanos, who was thrown out for the final out of that inning. But, that DH spot, you've got Yoshida coming back. He's going to be in there. And he needs to produce, okay? You look at the Phillies. They're without Trey Turner. They're now without their catcher, JT Realmuto. Now, we know the Red Sox injuries. There's been plenty on that side, too. Trevor Story out for the year. O'Neill has been down. Devers missing a little time earlier in the season. Not sure if these things are chronic and they're just going to have to play through. It's still early in the season. We're before the All-Star break, before the July 4th holiday. So they're playing with this stuff every single day. Every guy's day-to-day in the lineup. But when you're going with the Yoshida, and it's going to be matchups as well for Alex Cora with that DH spot. But you really do not want to have one guy locked into that DH spot. The way the outfield is, Duran, the way Alex Cora can mismatch Rafaela, Duran, Ref Snyder, O'Neill when he's in there. The defense in the outfield, every once in a while you scratch your head. But for the most part, with the speed they have out there, Yoshida's not going to play in the outfield. He's a DH. That's what he is. But he's not going to be in the lineup when you want to use that DH spot for a Tyler O'Neill or Rafael Devers every once in a while. You've got the big bopper in the lineup in Rafael Devers. But what do you have behind Devers in terms of a guy that's going to carry you for a few weeks? Yoshida, again, needs to hit, needs to produce in that DH spot. Absolutely 100%. Will it happen? Time will tell. But along those lines, with what Masa Yoshida is going to give you right now in that cleanup spot, or in that DH spot, you need him to produce along the way. Again, Kutter Crawford taking the loss, and the Red Sox now 3-11 in his 14 starts this year. The team is 0-7 in his last 7 outings. When you go up the guy against Zack Wheeler, you've got to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. As we saw Tuesday night, they were few and far between, had an opportunity to break a 1-1 tie in that first inning, did not happen. So what's on tap and what's ahead? Red Sox can even up the series. Again, they don't face 10-game winner Ranger Suarez in this series. Suarez picked up the win on Saturday in London against the Mets. First big league pitcher to 10 win, terrific ERA. But it'll be Nick Pivetta, 3-4, 3.40 ERA against Christopher Sanchez, a lefty, for Game 2 of the series, as the Sox will look to even up the series at a game apiece. Sanchez, 3-3 record, but a 2.71 ERA. And then Houck and Nola. Tanner Houck, 6-5, 1.91 ERA on Thursday. Aaron Nola, 8-2, 2.77 ERA. He gets a start in the finale. Then the Yankees come to town. You couldn't look past the White Sox in dropping 2 games in that series. Garrett Crochet last Friday, you lost to him, okay, but you lose again on Saturday, and then you take the field on Sunday, just looking for a split against the worst team in baseball. Now you're playing the 2 best teams in baseball. You've dropped Game 1 of what is 6 in a row against the Phillies and the Yankees. The Yankees come to Fenway for the first time this year, first series between the Yankees and Red Sox starting on Friday. That's way off right now. That's way off if you're the Red Sox. You're not thinking about that one right now. You are simply thinking about evening the series up on Wednesday with Nick Pivetta on the mound. Again, our maiden voyage of the Locked On Red Sox postcast just about in the books. Again, we remind you that the Locked On Red Sox postcast is going to come each and every day that there is a game. For the remainder of the season, we're going to be on 10, 15 minutes after the last out, just like we were here with the Red Sox dropping a 4-1 decision to the Philadelphia Phillies at home against the Phillies. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Subscribe to the Locked On Boston Podcast Network. John Corrales has you covered right now for all things Celtics. His latest Locked On Celtics podcast is up before Game 3 of the NBA Finals Wednesday night in Dallas, and John gives his thoughts on Kristaps Porzingis and his injury and what the Celtics do if he cannot go in Game 3. Again, Game 3 NBA Finals Wednesday night from Dallas. Celtics up 2-0 in the series, 2 wins away from an NBA championship. Again, John Corrales has you covered with Locked On Celtics on the Locked On Boston Podcast Network. And as well, you've got Gabby Hurlbut taking every single day and providing a little twist on her Red Sox coverage. She does a terrific job. Her latest, Alex Verdugo, the former Red Sox outfielder, coming to town this weekend with the Yankees. Yankees right now, best team in the American League. Verdugo talking about how the Red Sox just haven't taken that next step to add stars and to want to completely compete in the AL East. They've got a long way to go, and we might see that during the course of this upcoming week against the Phillies and the Yankees. You dropped Game 1 of what is a just wretched 6-game stretch. We'll see how they respond with Nick Pivetta on the mound in Game 2 of the series. We will be on with our second edition of the Locked On Red Sox postcast, 10, 15 minutes following Game 2. Comments, you want to throw something out there, you want to throw something at the wall, don't do it. Throw a comment up there. Be a part of this. Continue to be our best source of getting information out there, word of mouth, as we continue to build. We'll call it a work in progress, but we're going to continue to build on this with the Locked On Red Sox postcast. Again, you can follow me on the X, formerly known as Twitter, at Lennox on Baseball. And again, Locked On Red Sox postcast, part of the Locked On Boston Podcasting Network. Until the Red Sox even up the series at a game apiece, we'll keep our fingers crossed for that one. I'm Steve Lennox. Thanks so much.